Capcom within the past few years has been making an effort to make multiple Mega Man games available on current-gen devices. First was the two classic Mega Man Legacy collections and the 2X collection. And now up to bat is the Mega Man Zero and Mega Man ZX series. But instead of seeing two separate collections as they've done in the past, both are being sold in one package as the Mega Man Zero ZX Legacy Collection. Now, Mega Man series outside Classic and X I dabbled a little into, but never put much time into. But let's put this collection to the test. Is it worth getting for a newcomer to the series, or just for the long-time fans? Let's find out. The collection contains Mega Man Zero 1 through 4, all originally released for the Game Boy Advance, and Mega Man ZX and ZX Advent originally for the DS. Including all their Japanese versions, such as the Japanese voice acting for the games that applies, as well as the blood splatters available in the Japanese version of the Zero series. They also include all the e-reader content for the GBA games, as well as the ZX GBA support functionality, so all content available in the games are included. The collection also adds in 2 modifiers you can put in. Casual Scenario Mode is for those who want to play the games purely for the story, and gives you a bigger health bar and all upgrades from the start. Personally, I do find it a little overkill, but I understand why it's there. But there's also a Save Assist mode, which gives you level checkpoints much more frequently and infinite lives. This feels like just the right amount of modifying the game, making them more like modern standards. And considering these games are notably some of the harder games of the franchise, this I see as a welcome addition, and a great way to get people into the series if they thought it was a bit much. Though keep in mind there is a new achievement system for completing different objectives in the games, and certain achievements can't be completed by having these on. The big new thing added to the collection is the Z-Chaser mode. Pretty much think of it like a time trial mode for each game racing through stages, but you also see a replay of an opponent at the same time, so you're trying to beat their time. Also, if you die on a boss on this mode, you get to keep going as the boss health stays where it was, to keep the pace going. And you have all your upgrades right from the start in this mode. While overall more simple, I do prefer this over the X challenge from last time, and it feels a lot more well thought out. The collection also has the usual music player with all the tracks from each game, and the gallery mode showing art from every single game in the collection. And speaking of music, for the Zero games, it's based off of the DS collection samples, which are a much higher quality than the GBA versions, which is very much appreciated. Now, one of the issues I do have with the collection overall is the presentation of it. While the menus and galleries look great, the actual presentation of the games leave a little to be desired. While ZX, I'll give them credit for figuring out a great way to get the dual screens to look right, even though it does kinda scream Twitch stream layout. For the Zero games, mainly the earlier ones, the artwork and cutscenes can just look a little rough in this collection. Whereas for ZX, they went out of their way to get the raw audio for voice lines and fully uncompressed videos for the cutscenes, which is a major boon for those games because the DS was notorious for crunched audio and FMVs. So it would have been nice for the Zero games to get that same treatment. And the filter options don't help with this. They either blend the pixels together, which I always hated how this looks, it removes so much detail from the sprites. And the CRT filter I felt like was fine for the X collection, but it really got botched here. It just puts grain static over the game and doesn't really enhance the visuals at all. I also don't like how you have to set the controls for each individual game. Like, for example, all the Zero games basically have the same control scheme, but you have to go into each game and reconfigure it every time you start a new game. That feels like something you should be able to set from the menu. Also, while you can remap buttons for the games, you can't for the ZR and ZL buttons. It's not bad if you're playing on a controller, but for Joy-Con, that feels like a major oversight. And while I do love the gallery mode and being able to listen from every track in both series, it does feel like there should have been a little bit more. Like how the X collection had the trailers for each game, character bios, as well as a product gallery, just to flesh out the collection a little bit more. So Mega Man Zero ZX Legacy Collection in terms of the games themselves is a fantastic way to experience these 6 titles. That Save Assist mode alone makes certain games like Zero 1 a lot more manageable. That alone, I think, makes this the ideal way for beginners to try the series out. And stuff like Z-Chaser is going to be fun in the future when people really get into it. but I am disappointed by the lack of visual options here to help the games, and it does feel like outside the games, there's not much content this time around. If you're a Mega Man Zero or ZX fan, I definitely pick it up, and if you're interested in the series, for sure it's the ideal way to play the games now. However, I'd maybe wait for a price drop. The games themselves are great in this collection, but in terms of the extras, it does feel a little empty. But in terms of the actual collection, I think this is overall the best done of the Mega Man collections this gen. So good on you, Capcom. Now, for the next one, let's get a little, internet savvy if you catch my drift.